my mind a lot. Don't need no time watch. I don't know how I got you in my pocket spot. Yeah, that's babe, need you every day. You like my oxygen, make it seem like the barging down. Got my heart no barging in. From the bed to the floor to the couch. Might wake the neighbors up, break you in and break you out. In the end, we're gonna make it.
Deanna, we are back with another episode of All Time High. While we wait for the algorithm to warm up, can you let the people know what they should probably do right now?
Yeah, absolutely. You know you love hearing from us every week. So if you want to make sure you're notified every time we release something, you should go ahead and hit that subscribe button that's right there and share this information with your friends, because let's just face it, Jim's entertaining and we think he's funny and we want your friends to see how funny and entertaining Jim is.
That's right. That's right. We're here, but we're also serious. And I think that's a problem because sometimes I go back and forth between serious and funny and just too fast. So I'm going to try to pace it out today, but the market is kind of pacing back. It's taken a step back. We're down to $121,000 Bitcoin. Not a bad place to be, but just not at an all-time high.
Sure. Does that mean you're not going to be funny today if you're dialing it back a little bit? Market's down. Jim's funniness is going to be down. Are we doing serious?
I guess so. I'm still looking for the upside. I get more excited as things are moving in a positive direction. I guess at the end of the day, Deanna, I'm more of a realist. You know, I'm kind of like, you know, the ebbs and flows, the tides as they come in and come out. I kind of recognize where we are and just accept the reality. Right now, the tide's running down and out a little bit. We're down 3% for the day, but still at 4.1 trillion in terms of overall market cap, which is exciting.
That's pretty good. I mean, you could be down because it's down, or you could be like, hey, this is an opportunity to buy. I mean, it's all perspective.
There, you know, it's funny that you started there, and that was the other thing that I was looking at, and it's almost like we've done this show before. Let me go ahead and pull up this particular screen that we're both getting more and more familiar with. It's a good, what I call preliminary indicator. It's not the final thing. You do your own research, you find your risk tolerance, make your own financial decisions, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not a tax advisor. Deanna, are you?
No, sadly. I mean, not really sadly. What I do is way more funner than any of that stuff.
So I want to take a look at this chart because we are in a unique situation. I was like, wow, when we first were getting online to get started on the show, the thing that's happened here, there's been a little bit of a wipeout.
Yeah.
So a lot of the optimism in a 3% decline got wiped out, or maybe the institutions, I don't know. I don't have those stats, but this is a real-time chart of the crypto liquidation levels.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the schmoverment shutdown has something to do with it.
Way to protect the episode, Deanna. Way to protect the episode.
Thank you. I'm learning. 2 years in, I'm learning. Yeah. But you know, I'd even looked at the NASDAQ, but again, when we say that the markets tend to follow each other, when you start to lose kind of faith in currency, I mean, you would actually think that more people would buy, but you see them actually gravitating to gold right now. We saw that gold hit an all-time high, which, you know, unfortunately we don't talk about enough on this show because all-time high should include gold too, I guess now.
It could,
but you know, the crypto markets, because of this lovely chart you're showing, can help people navigate when you think that the markets are going to do different things, making sure you're looking at this so that you can navigate it correctly.
Well, yeah. And what I'm seeing now is that optimism has been wiped out, because typically when you see elements below the line, those are call options. The blue line is where things really are. And the call options are people betting on the price to go up. And so the exchanges have a tendency to wipe out, when there's too much optimism, the stuff below the line. And so right now, because there's a lot of options above the line, take a look at Bitcoin. The red lines are the heaviest. Those represent, I think, 100x call options. Options in and of themselves are 100x. And so it's 100x of 100x. So people have seen this thing go down just a bit, and now it's the inverse. So in a scenario like this, with the recent declines and with most of the clearance below it on optionality gone, the place where the exchanges make the money would be on the upside in this particular scenario, for depending upon which coin you're looking at. But it does look to be pretty much across the board.
Yeah.
I'm not saying now is a good time to buy. I'm not. But if I were thinking about buying, I'd be strongly considering it here.
Might be, you know, something worth looking at.
Am I equivocating too much, Deanna?
No, I think you're doing great.
Yeah. It's, you never know. Things can go down further. There's no doubt about that. But it looks like the next move, if I were an exchange, and this is actually from Binance's 30-second updates, if Binance were trying to make money, they would make money by working with Wintermute to make the prices go up at this point, because the elements above the line right now are put options. Going up in price would actually wipe out the put options. The exchanges would make more money. And if you were invested here and were able to tag along on the ride, you were hodling the crypto that you were buying, you would share in the upside potential, not financial.
For those who don't know where hodl came from, by the way, because I did get the comment, if we could go back and explain some things to beginners who don't watch. In the very beginning of crypto, there was, and I forget the guy's name off the top of my head, he was giving a presentation. And when he was talking about Bitcoin, he misspelled hold and put HODL. So it's become like kind of a running joke in crypto that you hodl. So hodl means hold.
Okay. Got it.
There you go. Some background.
Yeah, it was a post from Game Kayubi on December 18th, 2013. After drinking, he posted, "I am hodling," in an attempt to express his decision to hold the Bitcoin during a crash.
Yep.
And what's the other one, if you can tell? I don't know. So I'm asking you, Ms. OG, on the laser eye deal, what was that about? Like, you see that every once in a while?
Yeah, I don't remember. I saw the trend, and it wasn't something I didn't participate. I didn't pay attention to it. I was probably busy with other stuff. So I don't remember that one. We could always go back and look it up.
We may go back to that later in the episode.
Yeah. So where I think, right. So we're talking about what are the things that actually makes it go up and down in value. So you have speculation. So I think this thing is going to go up. So I'm buying it, I'm holding it, and I'm anticipating its value. But then the other part of it is use case, right? And Bitcoin's use case is monetary value. So we see Bitcoin as a store of money. The value is money. And I think that works out kind of interesting right now, considering, what we're about to talk about. It's a great use case.
We're about to talk about $130 million by some estimates last year. Did you know that there are 4 states where you cannot, there's 46 states that are okay and rocking, rolling, and there are 4 states who have missed out on staking rewards. Can you guess what they are?
No.
Okay. Well, the one that came off the list was New York, which is
I was
huge.
about to say, I thought New York. Yeah. Because, New York made it back in 2018. They came out with a bit license, and they made it extremely difficult for any crypto company. And all the crypto companies, I mean, a big chunk of them were there because you're talking New York is the financial institution for the US. So, or the kind of the capital. So all the guys that started there, not all of them, a lot of them started in LA too, but a bunch of them were there. And as soon as New York came out with a bit license, they ended up having to leave. So they kind of shot themselves in the foot with that one.
Yeah, they did. And it's funny that you mentioned that. With some of them went to California, because California is one of the other states here that's on this list. New Jersey, Maryland, and then, which I can see, given they're closer to the finance headquarters in New York of Wall Street, if you will. And then you also see Maryland, which is right next door to Washington, D.C., and it has that component of rule following adjacent to it. And a lot of the money printing, so to speak, comes out of those particular areas of the world.
Print all you want, but God forbid, can't accept crypto. Like that's too far. That's too far.
And then Wisconsin is the other one, which I don't know that story, why that would be the case, but we can look into that at some other place. But the big news yesterday, New York is now online, and Coinbase is able to provide staking for New Yorkers, Ethereum in particular, one of your favorites.
Yeah, I do. I mean, it's Ethereum was the first coin to come out after Bitcoin. It has a different protocol. So the way that it maintains its system is different than Bitcoin. So it was pretty good technology. It's come a long way since then, thank God, but I'm a fan.
Yeah. And so the other big one that they seem to be, I'll call it in the VC pump game right now, would be Solana. So the headline news from Coin Central is that Ethereum and Solana staking services on Coinbase are eligible now for the first time ever in New York State, not city, so state and city. That's a big deal and should serve as a catalyst. But I don't know that this stuff necessarily coincides with the news in terms of ups and downs, because this is news from yesterday. It's much more than the US now. This is worldwide. What do you think about that? And be careful, Deanna. You were so good earlier. Do not mess up this episode by talking about countries that we can't say. Be careful.
I know.
Be careful out there.
I'm learning. Well, here's where I was going to go. I was actually going to go a little bit different.
Okay.
Let's remember who's getting ready to release a stable dollar on Ethereum.
Ripple?
No.
RLUSD? No.
JP Morgan has it, right? It's in test. It's in beta right now. So if you have New York, let's imagine JP Morgan can't do business at all in New York, that can't do stable dollar, can't do staking. What a big interruption that is. You have the largest financial institution in the world and they can't operate in a state because of some crazy law. I guarantee you they're in there lobbying on behalf of JP Morgan to make sure that once this rolls out, it's everywhere.
All right. We're going to play a little game, and I know you love JP Morgan, and that's fine. You and Jamie Dimon are friends and all that.
We're great fans.
I mean, but hold on. Like, so there's going to be a JP Morgan coin. Fine, I'll grant you that. And whatever. But then there's going to be a Bank of America coin, and then there's going to be a Wachovia coin. And what's the difference if I'm a person, like a random person out there? Because we're trying to connect with, we've heard feedback that sometimes we get into these conversations like I did a minute ago. But I'm like, okay, I like Deanna. She's got this thing going. I want a Bank of JP Morgan coin or whatever it's going to be. Wachovia coin, you name it. Your little regional bank coin, People's Bank. Why do I put it in that coin versus a regular dollar? I'm getting 3 or 4%.
Well, you're getting what, 3 or 4% on a dollar?
I don't know. At my bank.
Where are you getting 3 or 4?
On my CD, I'm getting it. On my 1-year CD, I'm getting 4%.
On one CD, you're getting 4%.
I'm in a persona that's older than me. That's my mindset here. I don't want to lose the money.
Sure.
I heard crypto is risky and volatile.
Sure.
I can get 4% on my CD, that's real, 1-year, 2-year CD.
Yep.
Why do I want to put it in JP Morgan coin or do staking? Well, staking with Ethereum or staking with Solana, you're going to get 10 or 15%, right? Is that fair?
Right. Yeah, depending on where you're doing it at. I mean,
I don't know. There's risk there. Like that is not FDIC insured. I want to be clear about that with people. Like, don't think that money is guaranteed. If you stake it, you're at risk.
Yep.
Fair enough.
Yep. Yeah.
Even on Coinbase.
This will be, of course. Anywhere, anytime you don't have your private keys. So when you have your money on an exchange, we call that a hot wallet. As long as your hot wallet or wallet is connected to the internet, you're always vulnerable to a hack. But if JP Morgan does a coin and it is FDIC insured, right? And now they offer staking and then they offer rewards, then it can be now. And if they can compete with 10 or 15%, that beats the heck out of your 4% CD, because now you've got the buy-in of the schmoverment. You have the high interest rewards that you're getting back. You're in a stable dollar, which means it may fluctuate from like 99.8 to like 99.9 or like, $1 points. Like there's these tiny fluctuations that might happen, but it's not nowhere near as volatile as the regular coins. So you've got it in a stable coin. You've got it connected to an FDIC institution. You've got it, the biggest name in banking handling it. I think that would ease a lot of the concerns of the consumer. And I think you'd start seeing adoption.
But what if it's not like it? I mean, even with the stablecoin legislation, it's not FDIC insured. And so the question to me becomes, when is the Clarity Act going to do that? You think, they got to be talking about this. I mean, that is like, if you want people to put money in, whether it's RLUSD or JP coin or Bank BOA coin or Wachovia coin, you want to know that it's equitably backed through the bank, like it would have otherwise been had it been just a regular US dollar. Because I know there's certain populations older than you or me, I would expect would not want to have, and definitely do not have, the risk appetite for such a scenario.
Sure. Well, I think it's a couple of things.
Boomer.
First off, the onboarding is something that they have to solve too, right? Because Ethereum can be a little tricky. So they got to make that as seamless as possible. I think if a bank is issuing money, it has to be FDIC insured. Do you know of any bank that holds money?
No,
that
the
is
money is.
Yeah,
but I don't think the coins are.
But now, well, I mean, if we as a nation now have reserves and we have crypto reserves that we've approved and we're stockpiling and we're eventually, why wouldn't that come down the pipeline? Because now we have the resources to sustain it as well, right? So instead of printing money, it'll be like print more stable coins. What'll be interesting is, what does that do to the dollar? I remember back in 2018 when there was working groups, and I'm sure they're still out there. I'm not a part of them anymore, but we were working with the schmoverment on what would a stable dollar look like. And one of the interesting things they came out with is they were like, well, it's not a stable coin. It's the dollar. It's not a stable coin. It's the dollar, but it would be a digital dollar, essentially.
For sure. Well, you heard there was another country. There's another country that starts with R that we're often in conflict with, that I will not say to protect this episode, who had a speaker from their finance ministry or division or whatever you want to call it within their government, and said basically this stablecoin deal, which is now passed through the Genius Act with the US, is basically a way to absorb some of the, not all of the, who knows how much of the $35 trillion in debt that we have. So it is a liquidity sponge at some level. I mean, it is in the USA's best interest, not me, but let's say as a country to engage with this. And I think that's why it was such a bipartisan effort. The issue, I think, as we look at the Clarity Act, is you're starting to find the banks going, whoa, wait a second. We're usually in charge. We're printing the money, handling the money, taking care of the money, but now we're not sure how this money flows and goes and what's up, what's down. And they are the $4 trillion to $10 trillion trip that I'm interested in taking. You know where that starts?
Where?
Not on the railroads. It's not on the railroads. It's in the real estate, right? When they start tokenizing real world assets, that's game on, right? Because then you've got derivatives, you got inflows, outflows, all of it.
Yeah, BlackRock's already getting ready to do it on XRP. That was their big thing. We talked about that last second, that they're going to start tokenizing their assets on there. And we were
what was that again?
Aspen.
I missed that. Sorry, Dion, I was distracted. Could you go over that one more time? I think you said that really, really well. I want to make sure that
you just want me to
in
say
case people miss this, that they get this. Go ahead. What was that you said?
Yes, I said it. BlackRock, XRP, you heard it. It's happening.
Real world assets. That's what I'm here for. I am here for that. Sign me up.
We were in Aspen when the first house was purchased in Bitcoin, right? So there are these one-offs that are happening, but it's that mass adoption, right? Now, if stablecoins come out and we stick to the 1-for-1, so you have to have a paper dollar for every coin that's issued, then I don't think you increase inflation. But I think the second you decouple that, just like we decoupled from gold and you saw inflation go through the dollar like crazy, I think you're going to see it again. I think if you decouple from crypto, all of a sudden the dollar is going to have deflation attached to it. And now you even have like competitive currencies. So it's a tricky game to navigate. But the biggest thing I think takeaway here is, if you guys have the opportunity and do your own research, I'm just giving you some advice of an opportunity that is out there. There are places where you can take a stable coin and you can stake it. And that means you're locking it in. It means you're saying, I'm not going to use this. I'm going to stay connected to the network. I'm locking this in, and you get rewarded for that because it helps keep the network fast, because when they're doing their checks and balances, all of that staking allows them to go through it faster.
That makes sense. And I know there's certain places, I don't know whether Robinhood offers that service or not, but I am here to say that in terms of, it maybe not be the best finished place to be as you grow your knowledge. But if you're a starter, a beginner, I'm telling you, my neighbor, he came over, he was asking me about it. He said some of his friends said this, but they tell him to go do this particular like cryptographic key and all the complexity. And he just said he lost his mind. He's like, Jim, give it to me straight, give it to me easy. Like, tell me how I can get started. And I really do say it, and I mean it. Robinhood is so user friendly. And I also believe that Robinhood, for better or for worse, I'm not here because there's no paid political endorsement here. This is just
not
my
yet,
commentary. No, but wait. I listened to Vlad talk about how they've got all the things in place to do tokenization of real world assets. They're just waiting for legislation. And I'm like, oh my. Like they're sitting on go. So if you, in my mind, I don't know if I'm right or wrong. I've been wrong before, so this will not be the last time or the first time.
When were you wrong?
I don't know.
It's rare.
I'm often early. So I feel like I'm a little early to Robinhood, but as I look at it for onboarding, if they do have those capabilities with the tokenization of real world assets for retail, I'm not talking about for institutions like BlackRock. Okay. That's not the discussion here.
Yeah.
That's a different game. That's a different play.
Yep.
That's hedge
Yep.
funds.
Yes.
But for retail, yeah. And I will say this, and Deanna, tell your thoughts about this. Like, the thing about putting money in that you're worried about losing, when you stake something, you're basically saying, here, manage this. And if it's not FDIC insured, it's at risk, point blank. Yes. It's at risk. Yes. But if you have it in one of these I'll call it top 10 assets, if you're looking to reduce your risk, you can look at the liquidity out there. The market cap basically represents that. That's how much money is sitting in there. And within Coin Market Cap or one of them, you can also look at what percentage total value locked. Yeah. And so you can know Ethereum. I'll look it up while you talk a little bit about that and try to baseline it maybe for the audience out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's the top 10 are the most established. And when you're looking at the charts, right, the market cap means there's this many coins for this particular coin. There's this many coins at this value, which creates the total market cap. So, for example, Bitcoin transacts, I don't know, it was something like 6 billion a day or maybe 8 billion a day. It's actually number 2 to Visa. So Visa is number 1 as far as monetary transactions, and then Bitcoin is number 2. So when you're looking and you're saying, okay, I want to make sure I get into a coin and I'm going to be able to sell it when I want to sell it. I want to get into a coin. I want to decrease my risk. I don't want to have to deal with the volatility. Stablecoins are a nice, easy way to navigate that. And so a stablecoin is a one of one. And the Genius Act said, if you're going to do a stablecoin, you have to have $1 to back it up. So back in the day, Tether had $4.4 billion and I'm sure they have even now because they're higher up on the chart. So they had $4.4 billion. And when they had to get audited, it caused a big ripple because, not ripple, ripple, but like it caused the thing in the industry to where, because everybody was trying to do the legitimate thing and they were like, hey, you guys, now they weren't scamming. It was the fact that who was going to go on record to say that they had that 4.4 billion. So I think policing it is going to be interesting. There are parameters now, though, to kind of protect people to make sure that they're not getting ripped off a little bit better. And that one-to-one is a great way to do it, as well as not adding, to our inflation if and when we end up going to the dollar as a digital currency. So, right. So we're looking at Ethereum and you say it's 4,300, right? Three is my lucky number, by the way. And there's three there. So you guys are going to have a lucky day today. And if you were to go down, there are, I can't really say the volume is, so it's done 46 billion in the last 24 hours. Oh, so then definitely
7.48%, I believe there you go.
Yeah.
And it tells you where centralized or decentralized, DeFi,
yep, so centralized exchange or decentralized exchange. And the difference is who's custodying the crypto is the difference between those two. And a centralized exchange, the exchange holds the crypto, and a decentralized exchange, your wallet holds the crypto.
There's so much here in these charts. I mean, let's go, since this is kind of the yield episode, let's talk about it. I mean, you've got earned and locked and earned flexi. What's your take and what the difference is between those two?
I haven't played with earned flexi that much. So I'd have to go back and look, but locked obviously means you're locked in the network and that's it. I'm not sure
90
if
days, 120 days,
I would think it'd be something like that versus like a just click and hold hodl.
Yeah. Flexi would seem to me might be 24 to 72 hours would be my guess. And you would, in all likelihood, on a locked deal, make more yield, in my opinion. And these are the different platforms that are allowing for this. Most of these are overseas. So we're going to start to see this matriculate to the USA. Those are listed as centralized exchange. These are decentralized, meaning what individuals are owning these, I would take. And the you got to be careful out there. Like, these are not recommendations. We're just showing you where you can secure the information and do your own research.
Yep.
And I go back to,
sorry. So I was going to go back to the market cap. So, cause I was looking on here where it said, so it was 120, we'll go back for a minute. It was 120 million Ethereum, I think, are in supply. Yeah, right there. So 120 million Ethereum at 4,334 coins per coin, or dollars per coin, which gives you a market cap of 523 billion. Right? Yeah.
Wow. Unreal.
Yep. Not bad. Somebody's doing good. Somebody's having a good day.
Well, and I'm going to tell you something I look for. Here's a little inside baseball, if you're all right with this, for new people. I like this deal with circulating supply. Like, the max supply of Bitcoin, as we famously know, is 21 million. That's it. There's no more.
Nope.
There is famously enough to me that, if there isn't one here, and I'm going to pick on Dogecoin because it's a meme coin and there is no limitation in terms of the number of Dogecoins that can be printed. Right. Obviously, there's other stories between, look, USDT, Tether. There's no limit to the number of Tether that can be printed. In theory, they're supposed to be 1-to-1 reserve holding.
Yep.
You look at USDC, same kind of thing. There is no limit. There's an infinite number that can be printed. This is the epitome of the digital dollar. Would you agree with that?
100%. But I mean, the nice thing is, because it's not considered the actual dollar, I don't think it's hurting. I mean, it's hurting the dollar in the sense of competition, but it's not causing our inflation because of it being coupled with it, right?
Fair.
But where I think we're going to see an issue is when they start coupling them, unless you're doing the 1-for-1 and we stop printing, you know what I mean? Like it could, it's just another form of printing. But, Tether's a good one. Binance is a good one. USDC is a good one. Like you find a good stable coin that you like, find a reward program, and doing your research, make sure it's a reputable place. Don't get some hokey, foreign, like misspelled, don't have things correct, can't figure out how to do a help ticket on the website. Those aren't the places you want to put your money. Coinbase has been around for
here
a really
are the
long
new
time.
Coins that are out, Deanna. Do you have any? There's Rats Coin. Is that one you might be a little skeptical of? Maybe.
I mean,
just maybe.
It seems.
Look at its 24-hour volume, 89,000. I mean, so this is out there. Baby Bitcoin, up we go. Australian digital dollar. I have no idea what that is. If that's real or fake or imagined, you can't know.
Huh?
What's that? Yeah.
You could buy into other currencies if that's. I don't think so. I don't think I've heard Australian going digital yet, but
I haven't either.
Well, that'd be the other thing too, is making sure your research. I feel like for a while there was an Ethereum coin that was branding itself as like Ethereum 2, where it's and it wasn't really Ethereum, and a lot of people were buying in, and I think it ended up tanking. So you just have to be careful. Again, do your research before you purchase into it. But the top 10 are usually solid.
Yeah, I would say the same. Other than within the top 10, I do notice a couple of things that are worth considering. One of which is it a USA coin? There's some upside potential if they waive tax on the USA coins. Not saying it will happen. It could happen. And then I look at the liquidity component, like how many fixed supply. Is it fixed supply or is it unlimited supply? Because at the end of the day, the economics of supply and demand come into play.
Yeah, I agree.
Those are two of my things. And the Deanna, her favorite fundamental all time is, if you can't find a person,
don't do it. Don't give them your money. Don't give them. Why would you give somebody you don't know your money? That's like the craziest thing ever. And listen, when we were talking about like a fixed limit, that 21 million, understand that once that 21 million hits, the prediction is Bitcoin will go up even more, because now you've hit there will be no more printed. That's it. So that's why they call it the digital gold. Bitcoin was the prototype. It wasn't actually, it was meant to come out to do this, but now that we had the technology, it was first to put these types of things together in a way that gave us blockchain technology, which is what powers Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is considered the prototype. It's considered the digital gold. There are some things wrong with it that limit it to being the actual currency, like a world reserve currency. But that 21 million supply is going to hit, and you're going to see people, when they want to buy it, you can only buy what's on the market now, but they think it's going to make it soar even more. So now let's look, you have the states, the country that's going to start buying Bitcoin reserves. You have a 21 million limit that's going to get hit that should predictably increase it. This is speculation. Do your own research. But all these things are what we're banking on is the continuation of the price to go up.
No doubt. And I think that's a great way to end this episode. Deanna, thank you for the OG insight as always, and have a great day.
Thanks. Bye.
You on my mind a lot. Don't need no time watch. I don't know how I got you in my